If I may call forward the two representatives from the Gainsharing program in Baltimore County, Maryland, Melissa Boone, who is the program manager, and Ken Miller, who is a driver messenger at the Bureau of Building Services.
Good morning.
Morning.
I've managed the Gainsharing program in Baltimore County for the past 4 years. Gainsharing is a buzzword that really means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. In one jurisdiction, it means a way for employees to save money by competing with a private contractor. In another jurisdiction, it means a global way to reduce spending, such as cutting workmen's compensation claims. In another, it may be a way to share savings when a department comes in under budget. But in Baltimore County, it could be all of these things and so much more. We don't put our employees in a box. Our approach takes teams of employees, encourages them to gather ideas from their peers. We ask them to select the best idea, to research it, to develop a written proposal, sell it with an oral presentation, and implement it. Is this a lot to ask? It sure is. But they can do it, and actually they do it. When their plans realize cost savings, 50% of those cost savings go back to the employees for 2 years, and 50% goes back to the county's general fund. But our program really goes beyond rewarding employees for their ideas. It gives them the skills they need and the support they need to make their ideas a reality. When our county executive took office, he was faced with limited resources, projections of flat tax revenues, and an unsettled workforce, while the demand for excellent customer service continued to grow. He knew that he needed to find a way to enlist the help of the frontline workers. He knew that those employees knew how to do their jobs better than anyone else. He needed to find a way to get them to help solve his dilemma. That's how he came up with Gainsharing. Although many of the councilmen laughed at him at the time, we have saved $1.4 million over the past 4 years. Our existing proposals will continue to generate savings of $600,000 annually. This number will only continue to grow as the program grows and new as well as existing teams generate new proposals. That's what this program is meant to be, a continuous process. We started with 12 people 4 years ago and now have nearly 2,000 involved in the program. Is it replicable? Can you take it anywhere? Sure you can. Because Gainsharing is really about developing people and showing them how they can make a difference. Baltimore County is a great example of how this can work anywhere. We have a diverse workforce of 7,000 employees, from mailmen to engineers. They've all been equally successful in our program. Even the unions who initially resisted us partner with us today. It's not easy. It takes a lot of work. It takes the energy and the momentum of a lot of good people. People like Ken Miller, a facilitator who's successfully guided 3 teams and proved that the process works.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm a driver messenger. I deliver the mail. The people are important to the process, but the process is what makes it work. As a facilitator, I've stepped out of my role as a mailman. I've been a coach. I've been a mentor. I've been part of the process for 4 years. In fact, my first problem-solving team was 8 pipeline sewer maintenance workers, guys who basically work with sewers all the time. And we were asking them to develop a professional proposal. Because of their workload, we were forced to meet during their lunch hour. No one even really wanted to step up and be a team leader. One guy, Bill Thomas, emerged to lead the team, a guy who had worked in the pipes for 20 years, who had never risen above his entry-level position. I even had to get paper and pencil from Melissa at times because the guys just weren't used to working with these type of tools. At the time, they were having problems with their sewer rods, and these are connecting rods with blades on the end used to clean out sewer lines, like a big rotor-rooter machine. As a team, we researched and developed a proposal to use a better rod, one that would not break under pressure. Sounds simple? Should be, but they lived with these rods for 7 years because they just really didn't know how to make a change. Gainsharing has given them the opportunity to justify purchasing a higher quality rod. Once the proposal was finished, we needed to sell it to the administration, the guys in the white shirts. We decided the best way to present the case was with a video. And these guys, without any previous experience, made a video that allowed the white shirts to get into the trenches, to see their problem and to prove their point. The proposal was approved. The better rods were purchased. Baltimore County did save money, about $9,000, and the savings were divided amongst the team, about 20 in number, and each received around $250. They went on as a team and developed a second proposal, which was equally successful. And Bill Thomas, after years stuck in a dead-end job, applied for a crew chief's position and was promoted. Gainsharing can bring a culture change, even to a group like sewer maintenance workers. Complainers became contributors to the solution. Managers became mentors to help solve the problems. And even I got a chance to speak to you all today. With Gainsharing, followers get to become leaders, employees get to do what makes sense, and managers have less headaches. Everybody wins.
That's Jazz. Ed Doran, then Susan Hammer.
This is interesting, and I was intrigued reading the write-up because it introduced me to some new words: Gainsharing program manager, management analyst, organizational development specialist. You have a technical advisory group, an executive advisory group, an internal review committee, facilitators, mentors. You talked about the development of proposals that are then reviewed at a couple of levels. I'm wondering how you would respond to the suggestion that what you have done is created an elaborate new bureaucracy to fight an old bureaucracy.
It is true, but what we found is while the employees may know how to do their jobs better than anyone else, what they don't know is how to make their ideas a reality. They may not understand the logistics of purchasing, and there's a system out there that already exists that's why they've the biggest thing is justifying low cost. Everybody feels like they've got to go with a low bidder, but they don't have to go with a low bidder. And I sat in a room with managers, actually, who were giving their bureau chiefs the reasons why they wouldn't have to go low cost, that the other costs that they would add into it would actually make it more expensive. And that's what this does. It gives the frontline people the ammunition to give their managers the ammunition to really make what they need to get done and things that really make sense. These guys live with these rods for 7 years. They didn't have to. But they didn't know how to make a simple change. And that's what our program helps them to do. Is it cumbersome? It sure is. But what they learn in the process is how they can take what just makes sense to them and make it a reality.
So you anticipate there will be a point at which you can undo that new cumbersome bureaucracy?
Sure. It wouldn't be quite so hard once they understand how to make it work. What they don't know is they know what makes sense. And I had a guy tell me, here's your proposal. It doesn't work like that. You're not going to be able to get it accomplished that way, but we're giving them the ammunition so they can do what makes sense.
Susan?
What makes your program unique and distinguishes it from similar programs at all levels of government?
What makes our program unique is, first of all, that we don't just have a program that exists out there. We are giving the employees the skills that they need to make a difference. As I just said, they don't know how to make a change. They don't know how to take what they know how to do, what just makes sense, and make it a reality. First of all, we're giving them the skills, teaching them how to work as teams, and when you come forward as a unifying team, how you can make a difference. Secondly, it's a bottom-up approach. It's not the CEO or the county executive telling them, we need you to make this change, and if you can cut this by 2%, we'll give you this amount. They decide what changes need to be made, and they tell us what needs to happen. When that happens, they tell us how the employees can best be rewarded. As long as they save money, we don't care how that happens. So basically, it comes from them, and that's what makes it work. It's their ideas.
Bill Klinger.
How do you deal with the perception that probably exists in some quarters that you're really rewarding people for doing what they should be doing anyway? I mean, you're giving them a bonus, in effect, for doing something that really is part of their job description.
That's probably one of our biggest and biggest things that we need to overcome. But the fact of the matter is, I talked to a councilman the other day who was telling us the very same thing. You mean to tell me these things don't just happen? But the fact is they don't, and that's not reality. What's happening out there is that these guys are living with rods that don't make sense, that don't work for them for 7 years. So what we're doing is we dangle the carrot of the incentive, but really what's important is the training effort that goes involved. Because what we're doing is we're training those employees to be proactive, not reactive. Training them not to be complainers, but to be able to come forward with solutions. So in that aspect, yeah, we're dangling a little bit of money. It's not that much. But what we're really doing is giving them skills and get insight into what's happening out there that doesn't make sense. What skills do we need to give our employees? And that's what we do. We give them those skills. We monitor them monthly with facilitators who stay with the teams and keep us grounded to the program.
Ken Miller, could you tell us a little bit more about the change in, to what degree the culture of work has changed
Well, it certainly allows the frontline personnel to actually have an input in their job where their managers become mentors to them rather than disciplinarians, and they're encouraged to bring forth ideas. They're supportive of bringing changes about that create more effective system. It improves morale overall because the frontline person rather has a say in what goes on in his job, and who knows his job better than the guy out there doing it all day long.
Did you get any of those frontline managers out of their white shirts yet?
We're working on it.
Okay.